Welcome to this, the 5th installment of the Strictly Medicinal Seeds Materia Medica series. This morning we're talking about Yarrow, Achillea millefolium. Here we've planted Yarrow by the edge of the fence because it's pretty drought tolerant and tough. So Yarrow is in the family Aster, the Asteraceae, one of the largest families on the planet Earth. The plant is hardy to zones 4 to 8, so it's very adaptable to much of the temperate north. This is the Oregon mountain yarrow, which is a white-flowered type. There are a lot of different cultivars of yarrow which may have different colors, but the white one is best for herbal medicine. It is a creeping herbaceous perennial, native to temperate zones worldwide, often found in alpine meadows or brought down into lower elevation gardens and planted as a lovely plant. Tends to go a bit pink in lowland gardens. This is really not much of a concern. Still makes good medicine. Then the part used is the flower or the leaf, and it is aromatic, astringent. If you think about it in terms of its use in herbal medicine, think about it as a first aid plant. It's very good for use as a spontaneous poultice. That is basically the leaves or the flowers worried and rubbed onto wounds. The wounds may be as shallow as an abrasion, or a deep wound is well treated by yarrow. It is a hemostatic, stops the bleeding. It reduces swollen tissues and is astringent. It kills pain. You can make it into a mouth poultice as well, that is, chew up the flowers and spit it onto the injury. The sooner you get it onto the deep wound, the better. You can make it into a very concentrated tea and use the tea for washing wounds and any kind of skin lesions. You can make a tincture of the dried flowers, and that tincture can be also very useful for topical application to wounds. And it combines well with calendula and arnica for the purpose of making an external antiseptic and healing embrocation. You know, yarrow has basically two different cycles that it goes through. The first is a spreading cycle. You can see I put a flat of yarrow down here. These are the plants that we sell in the nursery. And that first cycle is a spreading, almost a ground cover, like very green, actually cushy, fragrant ground cover that can be mowed. And then when it goes up into flower, that's the second part of its growth cycle. The flowers should be picked when young and immature, because they will eventually go to seed, and once they go to seed, they're not as good for medicine. Of course, once they start to go to seed and they start to fall apart and disintegrate, then you can pick the flowers and further dry them in a warm, airy place. Dry them on paper because the seed is very small. You don't want it to fall through the screen. And rub them thoroughly and screen and winnow and remove the seed. The seed can be stored cool and dry and remains usable for many years. The plant prefers standard garden soil or poor soil. It does well in full sun. It's drought tolerant and requires little water. You can sow the seed in a flat, or you can direct seed in the garden. Germination is about 8 days in warm soil. Space the plants about 18 inches apart. They will spread and cover the area. Achillea, named after the heel of Achilles, isn't it? Then was injured by the famous arrow and was then healed by the use of this herb. It's named after Achilles' heel. Millefolium, many flowers, and if you think about it, also the leaf is deeply divided, so that this is the doctrine of signatures for the deep wound that the plant heals. Plant yarrow. Always have it close by. It's useful to have in an emergency. It's good to grow and make into medicine that can be used later. Cheers.